Thanks for joining us. Unblocked is all about helping women understand blockchain and cryptocurrency and just find new opportunities. Katrina and I started this because we felt like there was just movement and we just didn't know how to start. You were one of the first people I heard speaking this language that I kind of understand and that doesn't feel like you're gatekeeping or blocking me. And so I'm just so thrilled to have you here and sharing your story, because I think you're exactly the type of kind of mentor and guide and inspiration that I think a lot of the women who are in Unblocked are super stoked to know you exist. Is great. With that, what are you building?
My project is called Seeds. It's effectively like cryptocurrency mutual aid, except that because of the design of cryptocurrency and the design of our ecosystem, it's set up so that we reward giving. When you give to people in need through Seeds, you receive the cryptocurrency Seeds in thanks. And a big part of the reason we structured it in this way, I mean, it took a while to get there, but it was because I realized that women were giving to people in need through the Seeds ecosystem, where like it was overwhelmingly women using what's available through cryptocurrency to transcend zero-sum extractive capitalism, so that it's the giving people who are rewarded and focus on helping others that feeds the transactions in the monetary system, unlike the old way, which is all about self-interest at the exclusion of everything else.
I'm so struck by how you are such a brilliant translator between the ideas of like what's happening now and also like where you see Seeds going. And I feel like part of that must come from your background working as a trader. And can you like talk a little bit about what led you from A to Z?
I was a professional stock trader for a while, mostly in Chicago and then also briefly on Wall Street before I quit because the misogyny was just like too blatantly out of control. My dad was a professional stock trader, so I knew that was a job that people had. I was 24 when I got my first pro trading job, which was in April of 2008, which was like right before the market crashed. So it was this really interesting time to be cutting my teeth in that world, and just like people were freaking out. And things were just collapsing. I was living in Chicago, as I mentioned, for most of that period of time. And I'd gone there, like trading was my day/night job. But I went there because I wanted to study like improv and comedy writing at Second City. Like I was sitting on the trading desk and got this idea about making a documentary about microlending to women around the world, specifically mobile microlending, because Kenya in 2012, they were so far beyond anywhere else in the world in terms of the tech. Like there wasn't the infrastructure for landlines, but everybody had a mobile phone by that point. And so this service called M-Pesa had like created mobile money transfer, like way before Venmo. Initially, Seeds was about microlending. It was like this idea of like, what if we could source capital to get it to these women, like in Kenya, on their mobile phones.
Did you already know about crypto at that point? Like, had it just as being as like a trader in finance, it was on your radar?
In 2012, when we were in Kenya, it was like semi on my radar. I didn't start buying Bitcoin until around September of 2013. Like the US government seized like what was then $30 million worth of Bitcoin from this. It was like the eBay for like every illicit activity you can imagine. The price dropped when that happened. And the stock trader in me was like, oh, this is a really interesting technology. And the price just dropped. I can get it for cheap. I'm going to try and buy as much as I can now. It was showing itself, and I didn't yet see how that specifically connected with the version of Seeds that existed at that time. But then later on, when it became easier to like mint your own cryptocurrency because of what Ethereum was trying to do to allow people to build on top of their network, that's when it became clear that like that could be a way in. And also, we were focusing on microlending, like I said. I remember gradually thinking like, it doesn't feel good to be just giving people loans. Like it would be better if there were gifts. So there was a bit of that shift happening too. So, I mean, it was pretty incremental. But yeah, I didn't feel like I really figured out what Seeds was until like 2 years ago when I had to redeem a seed to ask for help myself. I wasn't going to be able to pay rent on my studio apartment. And by that point, I think Seeds had helped people in 14 countries or something. And it wasn't until I was totally like backed up against the wall, like was going to be evicted and had couldn't think of anywhere else to turn. Only then did it occur to me to use the ecosystem I created to redeem a seed to ask for help myself so that I could like not be homeless. And so I did, and like the community responded, and really beautiful. Like, and it was like 24 hours, I had the money I needed.
Wow.
And it was then that I realized this idea of rewarding giving people Seeds cryptocurrency when they made gifts really made sense.
I think I read the largest gift redeemed was worth, like, somebody got $50,000 to help them. Can you tell that story a little bit?
The other piece of the seeds ecosystem that I should have better described earlier is that you can redeem a single seed to activate a request for help within our ecosystem for whatever amount of money you want to ask for. So if it's your rent or something, you could redeem a seed to ask for that $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever that you need. And then when the community fulfills your request, we'll send that to you in cryptocurrency. I don't know if anything else is like that, where you can take a unit and get more money out of it. So this guy, Mayo Marek, who's a former child soldier in South Sudan, and he got like $500 from Seeds to open a hygiene stall business in like the capital city of Juba, turned it into the sustainable business. And then he like just decided to hold these sessions where he trained people in his area about like how to redeem a seed to ask for help. So because of that, we've been able to help out, a bunch of people within their community. And like South Sudan is often ranked as like the most difficult country to live in the world. The $50,000 gift that you mentioned was for a nonprofit actually redeemed a seed. I think it's a genome sequencer. So it's supposed to help with like date rape. Like it wouldn't have occurred to me to think that there would be a place where I could get like monetary support after experiencing that. So trying to share more about that and make people aware that seeds can be available for that is something we're deeply committed to.
One of the things I think that makes other people nervous about this space is like the volatility. That's the opportunity in the space, but it is also one of the barriers in getting more women involved in it. And I'm just curious if you thought about that. Or
part of the approach and the language I want to try and speak is to the giver, to the person who already likes giving, and to reach those people and to let them know, like, you can do this through this ecosystem and also receive crypto in thanks so that you can benefit when it goes up in value through this activity that you're doing anyway, because you're generous. So risk aversion thing, it's the idea of like, you can redeem a single seed to ask for help when you need it. Can I think mitigate that to an extent so that you have this thing to lean on.
You're just redirecting, like if they're giving in other ways, and it's like, well, you could do it in seeds, and then you're also becoming part of this community that you could benefit by redeeming. This has been so awesome. Everybody check out Seeds. Your Transcend Capitalism on TikTok, a must follow. Thank you. And I cannot wait to see what happens with Seeds. It's such an exciting project to follow.
Thank you, Jane. That's really sweet. It means so much to me that you're interested, and it's really nice to get to talk to y'all. What you're doing is really cool and it's needed. So yeah, thank you for creating the community that you're creating. Bye.